Hey everyone, I'm Melanie from Streamline Legal, where we help law firms get the most out of their practice management software. Tonight we are talking about intake forms. I know you have them. Some of you have very long intake forms, some of you have very short intake forms, but we want to talk about them tonight because I know it's frustrating when you send those out to potential clients or to clients and they don't fill them out, or they fill them out halfway, or they give you some of the information but not all of the information. And so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that struggle tonight because I don't want it to be a struggle either for you or for the clients. Because let's face it, the easier we can make it for our potential clients, the more likely it is that they're going to continue on with that hiring process and get all the way to signing an engagement letter. And so let's see if we can make it a win-win for both of you. And so when I talk about intake information, really what I'm talking about is three different categories of information. The way I see it is we need information, number one, to help us determine if we're going to qualify this person for a consult. Do we even want them to come in or bother coming in for a consult? Are we even going to help them or be able to help them, I should say, once we get some information? Number two is information we need to determine if we want to take the case or how much we're going to charge if we do take this case. And so that's the second category of information. And then the third category of information is really information that we need to represent this client, whether it's to prepare documents or represent them in court or whatever we need. So there are, in my mind, three different levels of information that we need. Now, where I see a lot of people getting caught up is they'll start asking for that information that we need for representation at the very front. And the challenge there is that then we start getting people that maybe they're not comfortable giving us all that information. And frankly, I don't blame them. If I haven't even met you and I'm not sure I'm going to hire you to represent me, I'm probably not going to feel comfortable giving you my social security number, giving you my bank account statements. Um, Obviously, there is some level of detail I need in order to determine whether or not I'm going to take the case, but typically a social security number or bank account is not necessary in making that determination. And so, one of the ways that I often help clients really go through this exercise and figure out what information they do need is I say, take your current intake form, and I want you to sit down with two different, or I should say, three different colored highlighters. And the first color I want you to use to highlight any question where you need the information in order to qualify someone for a consultation. So, for example, I'm thinking about things like what county are they in? Do we practice in that jurisdiction? Where did the accident occur if we're talking about personal injury? Are they willing to pay our consultation fee? Those kinds of things are things that I'm going to want to know before the consultation. And so let's highlight those out of our form or make a list of them if they're not in your form. And then go on to the second set of information. Again, the second set we're going to highlight in a second color. And this is information we need to determine whether we're going to take the case or how much we're going to charge this client. And so in that case, I'm looking for things like, do they have a viable case? What's the size of their estate, or what documents do we need to prepare? These are all things that are going to help me figure out how much we're going to charge this client if I'm willing to take on this case or this matter. And so that's going to be our second category. And then the third color of highlighter I want you to take to your forms is information we need for representing the client. And this is where we're going to put in that level of detail, right? We're talking about social security numbers. We're talking about bank account numbers if they're necessary. We're talking about addresses of beneficiaries, VIN numbers of vehicles, copies of medical records, all those really detailed things that we need in order to represent our client, but they don't necessarily make a difference whether or not we're going to take on the client or how much we're going to charge them. And so those are the three categories I'd encourage you to use when highlighting your current intake forms to figure out where's the best place to present this information. The other thing that I want to put out there is forms can be really nice. There's some great tools out there, Clio Grow, Lawmatics, all kinds of form tools that help us collect this information from our clients. And it can be very helpful and very time saving. But I also want to make sure that we're taking into consideration the whole rapport that we're trying to build with our clients or potential clients, right? Maybe some of this stuff is better collected through a conversation. So for example, that first set of information to figure out if they qualify for a consult, that's probably a great conversation for them to have with your intake person or with your person that answers the phone in your office to make that determination. That information is great. That second set of information right before the consult to figure out if we're going to take the case or how much we're going to charge, that might be a great opportunity for a short form that they can fill out prior to coming in. You can review it before they come in, and you can have a much more productive consult. That third set of information that we need for representation, I would highly, highly recommend that you wait until they've signed an engagement letter and then go ahead and try and collect that information, possibly through a phone interview with a paralegal or with a legal assistant. I really do think that's a better way to build rapport with your clients if you can spare the manpower in order to do that. I think that that makes for a really nice welcome and to make your client feel like they're being heard and being taken care of, especially when they first start that representation. And so I would highly encourage you again to go back to your current forms, look at the information you're currently collecting, and figure out if that's really happening in the best order, or if maybe we can adjust that order in order to make that a better workflow for our clients, a better glide path, and a faster way to get them into a signed engagement. So I hope that's helpful tonight. Have a great evening, and we'll see you soon.